All right, welcome to 2026. This is the Do Hard Things Today podcast. This is your host, Kevin Harrison, and Jed Blackwell here. And we have just passed a huge marker for resolutions and New Year's and those kind of things, Jed Blackwell. And what is that? What is the second Friday of January every year? What do they call that?
It's Quitter's Day.
Quitter's Day. Oh my goodness.
And it was yesterday.
And it was
as
yesterday.
We're recording.
Yeah, as we're recording. My goodness. And so we're coming to you to try to break the trend of Quitter's Day. All right, so why do they call the second Friday of January Quitter's Day?
Statistically, as far as statistics can be kept, because it's a tricky thing to track, that is the day that most people abandon their New Year's resolutions.
Yeah. And I can vouch for this, because if you, for those of you that go to the gym and work out, that first week of January, it is slam packed.
Yeah.
And gym owners will even tell you that they make so much money by people committing up front in January to buy a gym membership. And then they'll come for like 2 weeks and then not come anymore. They're banking on you not coming anymore. That's how they make their money.
Right. To the point of waiving initiation fees.
Yes.
In favor of a 1-year contract. You know what? We won't charge you that fee if you'll sign a 1-year contract, because after that second week, you're just not taking up space anymore.
Yeah, and that's right. I went to the gym this morning, and it was you already saw. Last week it was much worse, and that first week of January, I mean, it was just packed. You couldn't get on a machine or anything, and so you're already seeing that. So that's not a good thing. So we're here today. We're getting back. We've had a request. This is episode 153. I cannot believe we have 153 episodes that we've done. But people really like those small ones, and people have been requesting, hey, your Real Talk Mondays, your 5 for Fridays, those kind of things. So we're gonna commit to bringing you some of these shorter. We're gonna keep doing the long form, but we're gonna bring you some of these shorter ones as well. So today we're gonna talk about resolutions and how they go wrong, because people make resolutions. So I got a few things jotted down here, and the first thing I think you need to do with your resolutions is throw them away. Throw them away. Jed, have you ever been any good with resolutions?
No. I haven't. I saw a great meme about resolutions too, and it said, in the coming year, I'm going to accomplish all of these things by becoming a completely different person than I ever have before.
That's right. That's right.
And I think there's a lot to it. You're telling yourself something that's not going to happen. You have to be realistic about the things that you, not only the things that you want to accomplish, but the things that you're willing to accomplish.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think there's really two places you've got to know. Okay, you remember some of our listeners, they'll have no idea what we're talking about, because if they're going to go somewhere, they just plug it into the map and it just tells them point by point where to go. I can remember as a kid going on trips, and you would pull out the old Rand McNally map, unfold it, and you would look at all the different roads and things that you would have to go to, and really on any trip that you're going to, there's really only 2 data points you need to understand, and that is, where am I going and where am I? Yep. Those 2 things. Everything else is getting from here to there. The 2 things you've got to start with is, where am I and where am I going? And I think that's the big piece that I want to discuss here today, and that is, number one, you got to look in the mirror. And I think sometimes we go into a new year and we get really, really excited about, hey, I want to make these changes, I want to do this, got these big pipe dreams, and you refuse to do the most important part, which is, let's look in the mirror. When I say look in the mirror, this is not about, well, let me look in the mirror and see what I look like. No, it's that proverbial mirror of, hey, what are the things that maybe I'm not satisfied with in my life right now? And I believe there's 4 areas, and we're going to talk about, the big takeaway is going to be talking about the grade 8 again, but I believe there's 4 areas: fitness, family, finances, and faith. And I use 4 because there's 4 tires on a car. Yep. You ever had a tire out of balance?
Yes.
How's that feel going down the road?
Not great.
Everybody can feel it, or you let go of the steering wheel and it jerks to the right. If any of those things get out of balance, then everything messes up. And so, I think we got to look in the mirror and see, okay, where am I and what am I not satisfied with? Because if we if we're not satisfied with where we are, then we can get a game plan for where we're going to go. So, looking in the mirror and then looking into the future and really saying, you talked about that meme and say that again.
I'm going to change all of these things by changing the person that I have been for the past however many years, basically.
Yeah.
Change everything about my life.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to change everything about my life. And that sounds awesome for about 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
And then you start looking, it's like, well, man, I can't, man, I'm reading for the first time that I've ever read. I'm trying to drink all this water. I'm trying to work out twice a day. I'm trying to do this, trying to do that, all these things. And it can just overwhelm you. And then what happens when we do that is we very, very quickly start to become defeated.
Right.
And when we become defeated, we get down on ourselves, and then that's when we step back, and that's what happens a lot on Quitter's Day.
Yeah, no question.
Yeah.
Because here comes that second weekend of the year, and it's not going to hurt to skip it tomorrow. Tomorrow's Saturday. It's not going to hurt us to skip this one day. Then you wake up Sunday morning, well, I missed yesterday. I could start again Monday.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
And then it's Monday morning, and the alarm clock goes off, and you hit snooze. And now it's Tuesday.
Yeah.
And why bother?
Yeah, why bother? And then you look up, and it's February.
Right.
And maybe instead of these grand plans you had, you may have put on another 10 pounds.
And we're having this Super Bowl party, so I don't need to start till after that.
Yeah, don't need to start till after that. And then, well, I'll wait till summer.
Yeah.
Summer's coming around, so I'll start in April. And then the next thing you know, it's summer, and you didn't do anything there, so you're like, well, bathing suit season's over, so I'm not worried about it. So I'll go into the fall, and I'll start all again next year.
And now it's New Year's Eve.
And that has happened. We laugh about that, but that's happened to every single one of us.
No question.
Every single one of us. And so I want to give you a little bit of a framework that may make you more successful. And I think going back to, these 90-day goals, looking at a first quarter, January, February, March, and saying, okay, what are some attainable goals? And this is different than the meme you talked about, which is I'm just going to completely change everything about my life. No, what are some attainable goals? What are some things? And again, remember, we start with where we are. We look at where do we want to go? What do I want this area? And when I think about those 4 different areas, fitness, family, finances, and faith, you start and say, oh, what am I not satisfied with here? And usually in all those areas, there's at least one thing that know right now, here is something that I should start doing.
Well, and I think that's the key to me, the key to everything in life is a sports metaphor. I know everybody likes to use the elephant. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And that makes sense. But I don't even look at the elephant. I use a sports metaphor. Get on the scoreboard.
That's good.
Do one thing. Get on the scoreboard.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're behind 100-2. Get those 2.
Yep.
Make a bucket. Get on the scoreboard. We'll go from there.
Jed, that's so good.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I've been watching a football game, and a team will be down 21-0, 24-0, and just getting shellacked.
Yep.
And they're driving down the field, maybe towards the end of the first half, and it's 4th and 1 on the 15-yard line, and the coach calls in the field goal kicker.
Right.
And everybody's like, man, we're down 24 points. In his mind, and I've heard coaches say this before, I just want to get some points on the scoreboard.
3 is so different than 0.
So different.
One of the most successful high school coaches in the area told me a long time ago that a 14-point lead is the most worthless thing in football. I said, what are you talking about? He said, because you're up 2 scores and you relax, you get lackadaisical.
Yeah.
And they scored, now you're up 7, and you turn it over and they got the ball. Now they're up 7 and driving.
Yeah.
That goes back to that 7 getting on the scoreboard.
Getting on the scoreboard.
Accomplish one thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's what it is just a small victory. Mm-hmm. Get yourself a win. And that's the thing. How overwhelming is it to say, I need to lose 100 pounds?
You'll never do it. Yeah. I mean, you might do it if it's medically mandated, but it's almost impossible to do.
You can't fathom it.
Right.
How am I going to lose 100 pounds?
Right.
But Jet, how hey, look,
Yeah.
man, you're in the best shape of your probably since you've been in high school.
Yeah, I've lost 60 pounds since the middle of 2020.
Yeah. Okay. Well, how did you do? You talk about the elephant. How did you do that?
Really slowly. I was a sports writer. For those listening who don't know, I was a sports writer for years and years and years, and it's really easy, especially during the wintertime, to grab a Chick-fil-A sandwich when the girls' game starts. And then by the time the boys' game's over and you've done your interview, and back when I was on daily deadline, you had to write, you look up and it's 10:45, you're on the way home, McDonald's and Waffle House are the two things open, and I'm a little bit hungry. So you eat dinner again, and you don't do anything the next day till about noon.
Yeah.
And you look up and you're 330 pounds.
Yeah.
Drink a little water, stop eating dinner twice, make a little bit better decision at lunchtime, or make a little bit better decision at dinner time because you went to a barbecue joint at lunch. And you look up 6 years later now, and they're 60 pounds gone.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
And nothing you just said was revolutionary.
No, or all that difficult.
Yeah. You're not out working out 3 times a day and water fasting and all these other things.
And when I want a Coke, I have a Coke.
Yeah.
But you drink enough water, you'd be surprised how frequently you don't want one.
Yeah. Well, you in another podcast, we're going to talk about sweetness and how we've really forgotten what like fruit, the sweetness of a fruit tastes like.
What a plum's supposed to taste like.
Yeah, because of all the other artificial things we put in. But there's nothing revolutionary about what you did. You did it 1 pound at a time.
Yep.
And that's what I really want to leave you guys with as we go into the last little 2 points here is I think right now maybe 3 things, maybe just 3 things and little benchmarks, over this next 90 days that you may want to reach. It may be a lot of times in January, it's about physical stuff. I mean, we're talking about health and dropping a few pounds, getting in the gym, maybe, a lot of times, I mean, especially when you get into your 40s, 50s, you start getting blood work done and different things. You're like, well, maybe my cholesterol's a little bit, whatever these benchmarks are, maybe write down 3. So here are 3 manageable, reachable goals over the next 90 days that I want to be able to reach. I would encourage you to do that with maybe have 1 or 2 in these 4 areas. Fitness, family, finances, and faith. That's what our whole pocket is based on. Of those, how do we optimize our life in those 4 areas? And a way you can do that is by action steps. And every night before I go to sleep, I make a list. And I just, you have to come up with something cute to call it, but it's you can laugh at it or whatever. But it's called the Great 8. And that's in those 4 areas. Again, fitness, family, finances, and faith. I write down 2 things that I need to do the next day to move me towards where I'm trying to go in those different areas. Guys, don't overcomplicate it. It could be I'm going to drink a gallon of water, or it could be I'm not going to eat any sugar today. Simple things. It could be, with family. It could be spending, we're going to eat dinner together. We're going to do a family devotion, or I'm going to spend 20 minutes with one of my daughters, with your finances. It could be I'm going to take my lunch. So I can say, because a lot of times in January, it's another thing. Hey, we want to get out of debt, want to save some money or whatever that may be. But it could be, got simple things that are, if you made a 90-day goal of, hey, we want to pay off a $2,000 credit card in 90 days. If that's one of your financial goals, then every day you make that list, and it could be going to take my lunch because it's going to save me $15. Because you can't go eat lunch now, and it doesn't cost you $15.
Absolutely not.
So I'm gonna take my lunch, or whatever that may be, and then get down to that faith goal. It could be maybe you're going to start reading your Bible. Maybe you're going to start doing. Maybe you're going to do a devotion. Whatever that may be. Whatever your goals are in that 90 days, you got to set the action plan in place on the day. And if you'll just do it on the daily, what happens is all those things you talked about just now, Jed, that all of a sudden you look up and you've lost 60 pounds.
Right.
Okay. Well, you've done that because you've just been consistent and just slowly been chipping away at it every single day. And when you do that, then you'll end up reaching these goals. And this is a perfect one. Again, Quitter's Day was yesterday, but we're going to depend on our audience that you guys depend on us to bring you and challenge you with things. And we're going to challenge you to spend some time every night. It'll take you 10 minutes at the most. Get those 4 areas, write down 2 things that you need to do the next day to help you reach your goals. Again, now we're talking about 90 days. Take a 90-day goal in those areas. And I think what you'll see is instead of being overwhelmed with, man, I need to lose 100 pounds, we need to, maybe you're $50,000 in consumer debt that you're facing and you're suffocating and you think about that and it just paralyzes you. Okay, take that. Dave Ramsey talks about take that very, very smallest debt and start chipping away at it. Say, hey, in this first quarter, we're going to pay off that smallest credit card, and here's how we're going to do it. And if you do that, then you'll get on the scoreboard. And once you get that field goal on the scoreboard, Jed, it's real easy. Then all of a sudden you look over on the sideline and there's a little bit of pep in the step.
Momentum, yeah.
And now they're feeling like, hey, we can do this, And then you start talking about, that's when you start talking, hey, we're going to get the ball to start the second half. So then you start adding those things up in your mind. Well, now that we got 3, we'll get a touchdown. Yep. Now we're 10. Now we're within 2 scores. And Big Mo starts getting on your side. And we've all seen it. Sports analogies are the reason you use them so much is because they're so true.
They're true.
I mean, you can just feel it, man. When momentum switches and everything's going wrong, and then something happens and momentum changes. Man, I'm the play-by-play guy for our local high school thing. I'm like the 3rd string. Whenever we just run completely out of people that can do it, they call on me. But we were in our game, last game before the state championship, and everything was going great for us. Man, I just felt like, man, we're going to blow this team out of the building. I mean, we were literally on that trajectory, and then one bad thing happened, and I mean, everything changed, Jed. I mean, and you could just feel the momentum switch, and that's what you want. That can be good and that can be bad. What I want for you guys listening is let's have that momentum switch now. Let's have momentum pushing in the right direction. So how can you get on the scoreboard? Do that grade 8 at night, and then you'll be surprised if let's take packing your lunch, which sounds like just a very, very small thing. Pack your lunch a couple of days, and then realize, man, I just saved $30 by packing my lunch for 2 days.
Right.
You'll be surprised how that gets you on the board and creates a little bit of positive momentum. And that's all we really need. If we can get a little bit of positive momentum going, then next thing you know, we're going to be at that finish line and reaching our goals. So let's throw those resolutions out and let's get some momentum going. We've given you a framework for how you can do that over these next 90 days. And then once we get through this 90 days, guess what? We start over. Start another 90 days. And next thing you know, you've got transformation. And if you'll just remember this, you can break it on. We're even going podcast coming up. We're going to be talking about minutes and hours and days and those kind of things. But if you'll do the hard things today, tomorrow will take care of itself.